G'day folks, welcome to the hopefully final episode of the Deathproof rebuild. We're up to number 4, hopefully this is it. We are on the downhill run. We've basically repaired all of the back end. It's all back together. The bodywork on the back end is all back together. So really we're just focusing on the front end and a few little knickknacks from here, so happy days. And I think why don't we get started with putting the rest of the interior on, and we've got to pop those doors on too. So as we move forward with mounting the doors, we still need to remember that we're missing a couple of the original pins like so. So what I've done is I've bought some bolts. They're a little bit oversized, they won't fit. So let's go and turn them down on the lathe and then I'll get these sorted and then they'll be real easy to put on. So after making a small chamfer with a grinder, that now fits real nice. That'll do it. So before I fit these new pins on the hinges, I need to fill out these cuts that I've made. I need to fill them with a welder, so let's go and get that done right now. Yeah. Done. Well, with that crossed off the list, we need to keep moving forward. Now, some people say that in order to get better, things must get worse, and that's kind of the truth here as well. So we're actually going to pop off the passenger front fender as well for a few reasons, and they are as follows. We need to end up putting the bolt in the chassis on both sides so that we can remount it. So that's going to need some access for welding. We're also going to repair the fender. It's had some previous accident damage, so we're going to run that in the English wheel. And we also want some better access for the front suspension, basically, when we rip it all out. So why don't we go ahead and do that? So with the fender out of the way, we may have a better and closer look at how bent the lower control arm is. Whilst it's meant to have this notch, this ball joint has travelled rearwards significantly, so we're going to have to pop this arm out and either try to straighten it up or modify a spare. So it's currently loose and free, but the lower control arm doesn't want to push any lower than that. The front mounting bolt is actually bent rearwards, so it's on a bit of a twist. So we're going to remove it as it is there. However, the load's taken off the spring anyway, so it doesn't matter. But we're going to have to straighten that up on the cross member as well before we put it all back together, as well as straightening up the lower arm or replacing them. And we can now see the level and extent of how much it's been bent. So we're going to have to at least try on the press to straighten it out. It's mostly kinked along that angle there. Let's give it a go. So in order to hopefully get a bit more perspective, you can see this side of the lower control arm lays flat against the press. And you can see how much of a gap there is on this side. So that's the amount that we're going to try to press down on the bent part here. Don't know if it's going to work, but we've got to give it a shot. Mild improvement. Good 20 tons of pressure on that. working quite nicely. Well, I reckon we can call this done. Let's have a look at the real thing and make a comparison. So there we are side by side, an original lower control arm that's not been modified, and they're looking pretty darn good next to each other. And if we put them back to back, they line up really well. Alright, so we just need to organise the front mounting point for that lower control arm. We'll call that done. That will do it. Only thing left with the front now, other than tie rods and steering, is to actually straighten this link out, and we'll put that back together as well. We may as well do the sway bar links together as a pair. Get them heating and red hot. And we can get them back straight in. At least straight enough anyway. And we'll leave the sway bar links loosely in place in the meantime while we do the other side. Now we can actually do a little bit of a comparison of how the front end has actually changed its location compared to where it was before. It's quite the difference. We better do the other side then. So I have snagged a bit of a problem on the driver's side. You can see how the steering rack's all busted and damaged. This is bent too, and it's actually fouling on the lower control arm and stopping it from dropping any lower. So it looks like I'm going to have to unbolt the rack a little bit just to move it out of the way, and hopefully I can then drop the rest of the lower arm out. Happy days. Beautiful. Hang on. One bent steering rack. And there we are, folks. You can see just how bent this poor rack is. So it's taken a kink around here and here as well. Fortunately, I have two replacements ready to go. So this here is our little adapter piece that I've made. This is what allows the Daewoo Lanos steering rack to fit. So this is actually still nice and straight, thankfully. It's just the rack that was badly bent. So we'll swap it over onto the other rack, and we may as well get this rack in while the driver's lower control arm is out. I was planning to do it later, but since it got in the way, we may as well take care of it. And in case anyone's wondering, we also have a new set of tramp rods now.
Oh yeah, that's what we used for the rear end.
That's what we used last time. It's a bit unorthodox, but hey, it works.
Certainly made a big difference, that's for sure.
It has.
Ugga duggers.
Beautiful. Alright, we will rip off the old power steering lines, and we will rip off the old steering mechanism here for ours, and this is ready to pop in. Nice and straightforward, thankfully.
Lovely.
Okay, she's ready to fit.
Looks like it's trying to come through.
There we go, very good. Well, back to the lower control arm on driver's side, you can see how off it is compared to the original left-hand side. So, we'd better continue with that then, hey? To the press we go. And that's now a whole heap different compared to what it was before. We're ready to fit it. And now we can finally put these tie rod ends back together. And there we are, folks. On that note, we basically have the entire front end all back together. Happy days. So moving forward, we need to continue with the front fenders and the front of the running boards. They need a bit of welding repairs. Got to knock out a few of the dents on the fenders while we're at it, why not? We've got to continue welding the mounting points on this chassis to mount the front bumper bar. But apart from that, that's just about it. We've got to do a rough wheel alignment once it's back on the ground, fill up the gearbox with oil, put a new air filter on, reconnect the steering column. That's about it. So we'll have a quick break and get straight back into it. now to round out the bodywork, we just need to repair this front bumper bar and the brackets. This one snapped in half, so we'll look at welding that back together. And I do believe that these are quite a bit bent as well, but we'll get them fitted to the bodywork first and take it from there. About do it. So now we can fill up the fluids. We'll start with the gearbox, then move on to the power steering pump and bleed that out. The fresh air cleaner, of course. Then fill it up with some fuel, and then pop these tyres on. That'll call us done, I reckon. And there we have it, folks. We are now done and dusted. Deathproof is completely back together. We're ready to go and we're ready to have some fun again. So on that note, next weekend do join us. We've got a couple of excellent videos coming up. We're taking Deathproof and Sleazy out for their first runs. They're going to be competing against each other. They're just going to be having some fun with each other. We're going to test and tune, basically. So we've got a lot of fun activities planned there. We've got a few people trying out navigating. We're all going to have a turn with Sleazy. So make sure you do like, share and subscribe. Don't forget to check out our links and we'll see you on the next ones. Oh, I fucking hate this. Come on, get off. Oh, turd.
It's good to see that you love me.
I don't fucking love you. Oh, well, at least, you know, you do have one mate that loves you, actually.
Yeah, what's his name?
Shane Davies.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Shane. I appreciate you, mate.
Mate, at least you're the only one that loves him, because even his fucking family doesn't.
Just got home from work and look what I'm fucking stuck with. Work on these things all fucking day.
Shut up.
And then come home and got to help this prick.
Stop your sucking.
Just another one of my great ideas.
Fuck off.
Yeah, don't start them by hand first, just fucking rattle them on, mate. You'll be right.
Fuck off.
We should put that at the end. We hold no responsibility for anything you copy.
We are professional idiots, don't try this at home. Hey, if we make it big, we may have to. Let's get him in.
Good luck with that.
Fuck off.
It's time I went and had a shower and went to bed.
Get that. Drop your guts.
Nah, I was blowing all the smoke away.
Fucking pussy.
What?
Fucking pussy.
Oh, God.